Apparently, Justin Baldoni is not allowed to legally defend himself. Blake Lively's lawyers are instead calling his moves more attacks, saying this is not a he said, she said. Oh, Blake, you're making this so much worse. Welcome to Popcorn Planet. I am Andy Signore, and I feel like I'm getting gaslit by her and her team. It is just, this article in particular really triggered me. This idea that Justin is now still attacking her when he's clearly responding via lawsuits. And when you learn more about how Blake's team went after him legally, I'm just shocked by this attempt, and it really makes me start to be way less team nobody and just team not Blake because it just seems clearer and clearer by each PR opportunity that Blake puts out there that this mean girl bullying persona that everyone caught on their own, not because of Justin Baldoni, is starting to parlay into her powerful legal moves. And I got to say, this response is horrible. It's horrible. He has every right to respond and share text messages just like you did. That is not an attack. It is a legal response and a reply. And if anybody attacked first, it was you with your claim on Christmas Eve. Let's go through, because here's Justin's lawyers claiming how ridiculous the whole lawsuit was and its timing, and how the New York Times was really just doing it all for Blake and did no investigative journalism themselves.
That's supposed to be an investigative journalist, right? These are supposed to be investigative journalists. When do you see them at 9:47 at night send an email on a Friday night before a holiday, right before Christmas? They send the email and it warns them that we're coming out with a story that we're going to publish by 12 noon Eastern the next day. So you basically right there have 15 hours, 14 hours to respond to this. If you're not looking at your email at 9:47 at night Eastern time, you might even pass that up until the morning.
And keep in mind, like you said, it's a holiday. This is the Christmas holiday.
Right? There's a boatload of questions on there, but there's not the actual questions that matter. There's not really the questions about, this is the evidence we're using, these are the text messages we're relying on. They say that they've reviewed thousands of pages of text messages. Unbelievable.
Just to be clear at what he's trying to say there, they said they had the text message, but then didn't even share them with Justin and say, here's what we have. He had to find all that out in the article itself.
And if they did, they would have come across the text messages that had emojis removed, that skewed the meaning of various emails, other emails which were taken out of context, strings which were partial email strings, and partial text strings, and completely mischaracterized what was happening in the case. And it's shocking, actually, that the New York Times wouldn't follow up and say, well, you know, we have text messages saying this, and we'd like to know, are they real? Do you have anything that shows that they're different? We live in a digital age. You can't trust everything that you see. Why couldn't the New York Times ask that question?
Are you saying that they got
did they,
or that
did they edit them directly, or did they knew they had the wrong text? And
I'm blaming the New York Times for participating with Blake Lively's publicists and engaging in this campaign where they actually were part of facilitating the complaint getting filed with the CRD, which is the Civil Rights Division, and knew the complaint was getting filed, encouraged them to file the complaint, had a copy of the complaint before it was filed, and once it was filed, they went with the story. And they completely relied on these text messages given to them.
Breaking news. They didn't have any more time available to give you. They gave you the most time they could. You chose not to respond. Is that a fair charge?
Not at all. We did respond, and we challenged, actually, the veracity of the story, and we challenged, actually, the veracity of the text messages, and specifically said that those messages were cherry-picked and used out of context. Was there
so
a
they were
follow-up
warned.
phone call?
That's important.
Was there, please tell us more? What do you mean by cherry-picked and taken out of context? There was no investigative journalism done whatsoever. It was a complete reckless disregard for the truth. And why was that, Chris? You know why that was. Because Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds are who they are. And that's why that was done. And the truth
Tui
is
a big shot.
that any publicist...
Tui's a big shot, though, Brian.
Chris Como said in the beginning of the interview that this is his lawyer, so he's trying to like play hardball here, but his questions are pretty bad. But Tui's also been criticized, Cuomo, for using women's stories when she took down Weinstein and sort of making it her story. So there's a lot of debates in here, but he makes a lot of good arguments there about it. But his response there to Tui,
she's
the
got
author
a
of the
really
piece,
solid reputation for doing this kind of work.
And you know what, Chris, I would have expected more from her. I would have expected her to actually want the truth, because that's what this is about. It's just about truth. And in that regard, Chris, what we're going to do is like no one's ever done in any kind of case. We're going to take what the young kids call receipts, and we're going to take those text messages, and we're going to put them out for the public to see. And we're doing it as we speak, and we have been doing it. And what you're starting to see is a complete turnaround in this story. And you're starting to see a turnaround because people are questioning, is this truthful or not? When Blake Lively says she was sexually harassed because Justin Baldoni went into her trailer while she was breastfeeding, what she actually failed to talk about is the invitation that she sent in a text message and said, I'm pumping, come down to my trailer and we'll go over lines. It's right there. It's in a text message. They reviewed 1,000 pages. Why didn't they find that one?
Need to replace your...
But guys, as Blake Lively, no, don't listen to that. It's not a he said, she said. What I said happened. So it's not a he said, she said. I mean, this is bad, Blake. I've been trying to be very impartial. I've been trying to make sure that I'm looking at all this objectively, and I'm going to continue to do my best. But I'm going to call a spade. And this comment from your lawyer as a response to what Justin's been putting out there, you're basically telling us all, no, they're lying. They're jerks. Don't listen to them. We're women. Believe us. How dare you not? This is not a feud from creative differences. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Like, what are you doing? This is not a feud arising from creative difference or a he said, she said, as her lawyer said, as alleged in Miss Lively's complaint, as we will prove in litigation. Wayfair and his associates engaged in unlawful retaliatory astroturfing against Miss Lively for simply trying to protect herself and others on a film set. And their response to the lawsuit has been to launch more attacks against Miss Lively since her filing. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Why aren't you addressing Miss Lively? Why aren't you addressing all of the texts that they showed? I bumping come over. Why haven't you addressed the fact that the beaner, here's her own words. The beanie's way more sexier. It's basically he was called out for asking something that looked more sexy. Meanwhile, she's saying, I want to wear the thing that's sexier. This whole thing is absolutely a he said, she said. And here's the most damning. She doesn't seem to want to meet with the intimacy coordinator until we start, which may mess things up in the workflow, but I can meet with her, of course. That's fine if she doesn't meet, blah, blah, blah. Blake, I feel good. I can meet her when we start. Thank you, though. Again, all of this really goes against what she's trying to prove. And her complaint doesn't prove anything, really. It alleges things. We don't get to just believe you because you said it. But again, even more damning, and we're going to go through this full complaint during our live at 4 p.m. Eastern, so I hope you'll join us. If you haven't caught us live, come catch a live today. Join us. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to go through a lot of this together. But look at this. Just curious. Here's Justin writing. Have you guys peeked at her cut, if anything has changed? I have just been told that we are not permitted to look. Wow. When did that happen? As per Sony this evening. Wow. So the editors and director isn't allowed to look at an actress's cut. Got it. Well, here we go. We will keep taking the high road. He continues to go through. Here's her own the publicist saying this is crazy. We had nothing to do with these pieces that are out there. All this is organic stuff because she doesn't have a good reputation. That's true. More people are coming out. A former TV network intern. We're going to talk about that later. We're trying to get her for the show. Talks about her terrible experience where Blake Lively lied and played the victim on her. More and more is coming out. And what's just so shocking is they got the movie ripped from them. She absolutely used her power and then these threats to get control of the film and then locked him out, pushed him away. And this is a movie he not only directed, but produced and had the rights to the book way earlier before anybody else. And they just ripped. Blake Lively used her and Ryan Reynolds' power to get Sony to side with them, to push him away and take control of the movie and make sure that they could get it their way from a marketing standpoint. She could promote her Betty Boos, blah, 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 blah. Shameful. She's officially kicked me out of the film now. She's finishing it all. I can't be included and I can't be involved. Music, sound, VFX, everything. If I make it through, someone just just need to feel it all, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, all of this, while he's getting pushed out of his own film, his texts and everything show, let's be the better people. It's still our baby. We have to appreciate the fact that we still got it out there, even though it may grow up not as we thought. It's still beautiful. That's all I'm holding on to. I'm very proud of us. His editor's just horrified and so saddened that this movie of Justin's has completely been stripped from him. But no, guys, it's not a he said, she said. He's attacking me more. Oh my God. Oh my God. This is really how you want to play it? No, I can't just sit there and accept your narrative, Blake. I got to look at the evidence. And there's a lot of damning evidence that you're ignoring and now basically trying to tell us to not read and not pay attention to, that it's false. Well, why didn't you show us clear evidence when you filed your original complaint? And then separate lawsuit right as Justin filed his. There is so much more clearly coming out of this. I think Blake Lively made a massive mistake. She's going to get even worse press now than she ever would have. And now it's going to really cement it in a way that I don't think she's prepared for. And I'm not here to lift up and say Justin Baldoni is a hero. I don't really care about Justin. If he was screwed over and we find that out through the evidence, then I will report that on his behalf, because I don't like people getting screwed over by powerful people. But Blake, you should have moved on this. This is crazy what you're doing. To say it's not, of course it's a he said, she said. Of course that's what this is about. We have to look at the evidence, and that's what a judge or a jury will do in your trial. They're going to deem, well, who has the most evidence and who's more credible. All that's reliable. You're now being attacked? Oh my God. Oh my God. No, not on my watch. Nice spin here. This is ridiculous. What do you think? Does that frustrate you as much as it frustrates me? Let me know. Hit the subscribe and hit the bell for alerts so you get notified. Smash the like. Tell me down below in the comments, and make sure you join our live. We got a lot more to cover, and I'm sure some breaking news regarding this story and others will be covered as well. So join us at 4 p.m. Eastern. Thank you guys so much for watching.